Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay, and choo-choo.
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy, yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us all aboard the murder train, pulling away from the station. We have, as usual, a crazy episode today, and this is our 25th Small Town Murder Express.
Holy shit.
We're cranking them out, having a lot of fun. First of all, you want to go to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets to the virtual live show. That is October the 27th. It's a Halloween themed. We're going to have some weird, creepy Halloween stuff, and this is a foreshadowing today because we have a bit of a satanic twist to it today.
Oh, boy.
So, it's going to be a crazy Halloween show. It's available for 7 days after that, too. So you can get it on the 27th, watch it whenever you want, watch it 5 times, do anything you want with it for a week after it. Great. So much fun. Shutupandgivememurder.com or go to moment.co/smalltownmurder. And it's just like a regular live show, except you're in your living room and we're in a studio, but it's going to...
We're in yours.
Otherwise, it's exactly like that. Exactly like that. So you just get to sit next to whoever you want. That's the only difference. On your own couch and do whatever you got to do.
Nobody can tell you nothing.
Nothing. Anywhere in the world. So get that today or whenever you want to. Live shows. Check back for tickets to see if people return them because these are the end of the rescheduled shows, but most of them look like they're about sold out for the rest of the year. But keep checking back there. do that and shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get the bonus stuff, all your bonus material. Anybody $5 per month or above, cup of coffee is what that is. Yeah. You are going to get access to everything, the whole back catalog of bonus episodes, 100-something episodes, and you're going to get 2 new ones every other week, including Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder.
What a gift.
That's a good, you can gift it actually to people. You can gift it. You can do year-long subscriptions. Yeah. This week for Crime and Sports, we're going to finish up Sex Scandals with part 3, finish the Duke list. It's crazy stuff, a guy's poetry that had to be read in court. Then for Small Town Murder, we have a really cool one. It is the crossover between serial killers and people that happen to be in the mafia. So
is there a lot?
There really, and there's no other profession on earth where being a serial killer would help your professional, your professional prospects. There really isn't. You can't be like a CEO of an insurance company, kill a bunch of people and have them go, wow, I mean, this guy is just top of his field. It doesn't happen, but it happens in the mafia, and we're going to talk about sometimes where that happened on this episode. So that is patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get that. That said, let's do this, Jimmy. It is time.
Okay.
It's time to do it, and we're going to go on a trip here, but before we do that, let's sit back, clear the lungs. What do you say, everybody, wherever you are out there, and hopefully not too public of a place, sit back and shout, Shut up and give me murder.
Let's go.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy. We're going to a very nice place. We're going to Maine.
Oh, it's so rad.
I know that's your favorite place, so it is nice. We're going to Sanford, Maine, and this is southern Maine in the little panhandle there next to New Hampshire where it all kind of comes together.
Sanford's right there?
It's right there, not too far from Old Orchard Beach where we did an episode a long time ago. So the town motto here, explore, create, grow. So there you go.
Commas. Lots of commas in our...
Well, no, these are their own sentences. Explore, period. Create, period. All right. Grow, period.
That's the tweet.
That's it. Population 21,253 people here, so it's a good size, and it's a nice area, obviously, in terms of it's a desirable area to live, close to the ocean, not too far.
Southern Maine is the warmer part of Maine, obviously, and it's less fucking beautiful.
It's less Canada here than anything else. It's more New England. So median income here is for the households about $44,123. Median home price about $261,800.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
So it's kind of a... Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell a soul.
Kind of a middle-class area for Maine because there's a lot of expensive areas. If you go any closer to the water, it gets very pricey. Quick history of this town. The river, the Musam River, which runs through here, that created power for industry. So there was a sawmill on it as early as 1745. So I mean, it's been cranking out here. They had the Goodall mills in 1867 that came in here, where they made mohair plush for upholstering railroad seats, carpets, draperies, auto fabrics, military uniform fabric, and Palm Beach fabric for summer suits.
Oh,
yeah. So if you were wearing like some sort of mohair, if you had a mohair railroad seat, you know where it came from. So
I don't even know what mohair is.
It's like what they made sweaters out of in the 70s.
Like the really thick wool ones?
Yeah, something like that. So in 1954, Burlington Mills, which was the nation's largest textile firm, bought the mills and then closed the plants and left shitloads of people unemployed. And pretty much ruined the economy of the town for a while here. But they stuck with it and now has diversified industries. There's biotech industries here.
Cool. Yeah.
The place doesn't mess around. They did a movie about this, actually. Back in the day. About the town and how it perseveres and all this stuff. It starred Jason Robards. So
who the fuck is that?
Jason Robards. You've seen him. He's he's an old man in every 80s movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jason Robards. Now, also, because of the murder that happened here, this town was referred to all over the country as Terror Town. So that's Terror Town, USA, where we're going here.
Wow.
Couple reviews of this town. 5 stars. By the way, this is all capital letters, which to me is a sign of a dangerous person.
They're lying.
Here. There needs to be more things to do in Sanford besides the bowling alley and movie theaters. Schools are pretty good, and the town itself is pretty calm.
All
5 stars.
All capitals.
All caps. 4 stars.
You're so close to so much shit. Stop it. Who cares?
Well, this person doesn't care what else is around. They found what they like. 4 stars. The Applebee's in this area is great. It's located right in the plaza where it's always busy. It's family-oriented and has great service. Terrific. Great. They don't understand. This isn't Yelp. I didn't get that from Yelp. This is a thing, site about the town.
This town rules. They've got an Applebee's.
It's so awesome. It's always super busy, which is what you want in an Applebee's, to be packed all the time.
Yeah, I want it full of families constantly.
Here's 3 stars. Very short one sentence. Mm-hmm. The weather changes daily. It's always different. Well, that's really daily. You say the weather's different.
Every day it goes. Wow. Goes cold to warm, back to cold. That's crazy.
Sun comes up in the morning, fucking falls in the evening every day. Never.
3 stars.
3 stars.
If it stay up or stay down, I'd be happier.
3 stars. Here's 2 stars. Sanford is my hometown, and I lived here until I left for college. It's a pretty crappy town. Not a lot to do, and definitely not the safest. I lived in a good neighborhood outside of downtown, but we still had creepy experiences. Some lady tried to get into my car in the driveway in broad daylight and proceeded to get into our neighbor's truck. My freshman year of high school, it might have been like a lost old lady with dementia or something. I want more details.
In the years that you lived there, one person tried to get in your car, and that's creepy?
Oh, my freshman year of high school, someone was stabbed in the bathroom, and it seemed like there was constantly fights. That happened in my high school, too.
That's high school.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Sanford always has a drug problem, heroin and cocaine, and it's only getting worse. When people ask where I was born, I'm embarrassed to say I'm from here. Jesus
Is that
Christ.
Right?
What you described doesn't sound like the worst place in the world, so calm down. Calm down. You should have been raised in the South Bronx. I'd love to hear your review then.
You didn't see rapings or stabbings or killings on the street? Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent place.
Things to do here: the Great Pumpkin Festival and Pumpkin Pie Eating Contest.
Oh, if I can tell you how much these people love fucking pumpkin up there.
Oh, it's a pumpkin.
I say
time.
fucking. I think they fuck pumpkins.
It's the pumpkin fuck fest 2022. Come down. So this is the annual fall event, which includes crafts and games and giant pumpkin weigh-off, a pumpkin catapult, of course.
Hell yeah.
It's a free event for the whole family. There's also a scarecrow contest.
Yeah.
And then there is the actual pie eating contest, which is the Chamber of Commerce is behind this thing here. It's registration's free, 6 adults, 15 and up, and 6 youth, 10 to 14 years old.
Only pumpkin pies?
This is any pie. This is pumpkin pie. Yeah, you have to eat your pumpkin pie. That's
a great...
Oh, too much.
Think about it. They're
awful.
So dense.
Oh, you're going to puke that up.
God, that's crazy. Somebody's
need a lighter pie.
Yeah.
That said, about people joking, let's talk about a murder, shall we?
All right,
let's do this. Let's go back to 1984, and we're basically going to introduce you to kind of like a very Eddie Munson type, if you're a Stranger Things watcher here. Yeah, because this is that time period, 84. April 29th, 84, we're going to start out with, to be exact. Okay. It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday, small town, very nice. The springtime. Yeah. Clocks were just changed that evening, by the way.
Got it.
The 2 o'clock in the morning that morning.
Forward, yeah.
So no one knows what fucking time it is today. Everybody's, which kind of comes in to be a problem in the murder when they're trying to nail down issues, and there is no one knows what time it is because they don't know if they set their clock ahead yet. They're like, I don't remember if I set my watch ahead already.
Goddamn clocks.
It's a mess. So let's talk about Scott Waterhouse. Just like it sounds, Waterhouse. He's 18 years old. Oh. He is a high school junior, which makes me think he definitely failed a grade or two.
Held back a little bit.
He's 18 and a junior, or he had a late birthday and a holdback, and then you end up like that. So
or his mom found out he had to be in school when he was 6.
That could have happened. Oh, my God, Jesus. I thought you were getting old to sit around.
That was fast.
Holy Jesus. I've just been having you watch cartoons all day. So his life's been a little bit of an issue always. He's had problems. He was born with health problems.
Oh, no.
He was born with, this is a quote from his mother, quote, he was born with no hip joint.
On either side or just one side?
No, apparently on one side. He had one hip.
He just got like fused leg?
His other hip, with the leg's just dangling free, I suppose. If there's no joint, the leg must have just been dangling off by skin.
Or is it solid?
No. It just was it had.
Oh
nothing.
My God! He just had like a bread bag for a leg.
Yeah, he had the leg was formed. There was just no hip joint to put
There's
it in.
There's a loaf of bread in there.
Yeah,
there's just
dangling off as a baby. It's a tiny loaf of bread. It's like a little French roll for a little sub, little 6-inch
What do you
sub.
do for that?
Well, apparently she said, quote, so they made him one.
Oh.
Yeah, he also had a knee operation at some point and 2 hernia operations and had a ruptured disc in his back. So...
Oh, this kid's a mess. Poor baby.
By 18, he's a fucking, physically, everybody says he walks with a limp. The hip thing, he never got to walk properly. He always walks with a little bit of a limp. Like, you can always tell his gait, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. One of those guys. His older brother, Jim, he's the youngest of 5 children, by the way, also. So he's also the baby. His older brother, Jim, said, who's 3 years older, he said he's a skinny little guy. He's not a very big kid. I'd say he's kind of mellow. That's his
take it easy. It's hard for him to get to the gym.
Yeah. He's not a lot to do. So instead, he's a drummer in the school band. That's what he does. Okay. So the mother said he's always been the favorite of the other brothers and sisters. Like they all dote on him because he's the baby. So that's kind of how it goes.
And he's got issues. Everybody takes care of him.
You kind of gather around when it comes to that kind of thing.
It's probably why he's older in junior year, because he probably had some fucking time out of school for these operations.
He had multiple. He's had so many operations. I'm sure that didn't help at all. He had one minor brush a couple minor brushes, but his mother says one minor brush, and we'll talk about it here. His high school principal said, quote, there's been no serious behavioral problems with him.
Just this little shit.
We'll find out some stuff here. He smokes weed. He takes a little acid here and there, drops a couple of hits of acid, fucks around, likes, like metal music, and
who cares?
Plays
Skeleton's Frankenstein.
He plays drums in the band. He wants to play in he's just that kid. He's a headbanging kid, 1984. Picture Eddie Munson sitting there. Eddie Munson with a limp. So he, at that point, his mom also has some stuff to say about him here, because she likes him. His mom likes him, and she's going to be nice to him the whole time. She says, quote, I've never had any trouble with him except for maybe a year ago. He got in with some other kids, and they supposedly broke into a car and stole some grapes and stuff. What?
The great grape caper?
The great gape. No, that's not what it is. Great grape caper. The great grape graft of 1983 is what this was. The gaping grape graft. So they stole some grapes and stuff.
Yeah. And then they gaped the grapes.
They gaped it hard. Oh, God. His mom said, but he paid. He got 6 months probation. He swore up and down he didn't do it even after he got probation. So
who cares if he did it? It's great.
Who cares?
Who gives a shit?
It's a bunch of teenagers broke into a car and stole grapes. I don't care about this. I don't care.
Did he steal it from like a Robert Mondavi grape orchard? Like, what do we give a fuck?
Did he take down a warehouse full of grapes from a vineyard? If not,
did he go to Napa and fucking take them all?
Is this a mafia operation? Probably not. It's probably a bunch of kids who are like, hey, those grapes look pretty good. And you know what? If they're teenagers and they're eating fruit, the mother had to be like, at least he's eating fruit. I mean, don't steal the fruit, but thank you for eating fruit. I've been trying to get the kid to eat fruit, and he's doing it. Fortunately, he steals it, but
Yeah, there's a talk that needs to be had, but I think that's about as far as this goes. We don't need to involve the police.
But I think this might explain it, too. The end of this sentence coming up. She also said, as far as I know, he's never been violent. He gets mad once in a while, like any kid. He's a typical high school kid. He has his drums downstairs. He likes rock music and all that stuff. He eats all the time. The kids called him the garbage disposal. He eats and eats and eats, and he never puts on any weight.
That's not a nice thing to tell anybody.
That's probably a compliment to
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, to a 15-year-old kid. Yeah, you want to be known as that. I was proud of that. My grandfather used to marvel at the way I'd eat as a kid. You're like, look at him go. This is great. Give him more. He thought it was the greatest. Thought it was hilarious.
It's still going in. It's crazy.
Look at him go. I swear to God, he used to go crazy about that shit. So this Sunday, Scott he's at Scarborough Downs, which is, I guess it's the harness racing track's opening day. So the high school band has been contracted to play there. So that's where he is playing the drums playing the snare drum in the high school band.
For a horse racetrack?
For harness racing. I don't know. Is that dogs?
I don't know. It could be anything.
I don't know what the fuck. I got harnesses when they're in that little cart behind it, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I
don't know.
It's like a little chariot thing. I don't know.
Is it?
I don't fucking know.
I suppose you put a harness on anything and race it.
That's what I mean. It could be anything. Who knows? So the band gets back to Sanford at about 5 p.m. His mother said, I picked him up about 10 past 5, and he said, I'm going to go for a walk and get something to eat. So he takes off and goes for a walk. Now, he has had another problem, is the thing here. He had a little bit of an issue the year before with a girl who played flute in the high school band as well.
Oh, Jesus.
She was 15, and he was super into her and wrote her some fucking creepy letters.
Really?
Let's just say that. Yeah. The first letter, he asked her to meet him. Hey, meet me. That'd be fun. Yeah. We could have fun. She didn't show up.
She said okay, and then stood him up.
I don't know if she even answered, but either way, he went to the rendezvous point, and nothing happened. So then he sent her another that said, "quote I will get my rightful due, my dear, and you will be repaid for this."
Well, that's
a
bit much.
Way over the top. I mean, good Lord, what are you talking about? What do you
hope her dad doesn't find that?
Are you like a 17th century monarch that's your wife cheated on you with the monarch of another country and has embarrassed the whole land, and now there's going to be a war between the peoples and you will be repaid for that? The fuck are you talking about? You're 16 and...
Get my just due.
I will get my just dessert. You will get your just dessert. So in the first... after this, the final letter... here, he placed in her flute case, okay? This is 4 days ago, by the way, before May 29th. Okay, this has been going on.
4 days prior to the walk for a snack.
For the walk for a snack, okay? So Sunday, this is like Thursday of that, Wednesday or Thursday of that week. He placed a note in the flute case saying, quote, Jesus Christ, make the best of your every waking moment from now on because your days are numbered.
Oh, my God, sir.
Then, in the same note, he also asked her to please wear a purple top and purple socks.
Oh, I like purple, too.
And he said, if you did, it would look great.
Yeah.
But if you don't, and you don't acknowledge me, then your days are numbered. You know how it goes.
You get it going.
Days are numbered. You understand how this goes. So
watch Snaps.
Little bit fucking there. He also stole her shoes.
What?
He stole her shoes, Jimmy.
What are you doing?
He stole her shoes. I don't know if it was in gym class when she had her sneakers on. He snagged her shoes or whatever. But he also, he said that basically you need to meet me alone if you want your shoes back because I'm not going to give them to you otherwise. He said if anyone else is involved in any way, you will lose not only your clogs but possibly your life. And that's, And then he said, make the best of your every waking moment from now on because your days are numbered when she didn't answer that note. So.
Oh, my.
This is this week. So he's kind of a creepy kid. Let's just say that.
Yeah. He doesn't know he's 18, and that can put him away for a long, long time.
Yeah. I don't think this, at any age, your instinct should go here. No. But either way, this is a creepy kid. He's not very hip, Jimmy.
No.
He's not with the kids.
It's terrible flirting. Awful. Really awful flirting.
Real bad stuff. So there's some woods by his house. Okay. Apparently it's been left underdeveloped on purpose here.
Oh.
There's to pad because between this neighborhood, then there's woods and the river is right there. The whatever that was, the Musam River or whatever, and then there's a concrete manufacturing plant, which apparently it's very, very loud to manufacture concrete.
Oh, God.
Really, you got to cut it and break it, and it's a lot.
No, James, it's worse. There's mining involved, and there's belts that move the materials to mix it all, and then you have a big belt that puts it into the mixers, and the mixers are loud as fuck. It's just loud all day.
That's just why there's woods here. The concrete has nothing to do with the story, but it's just there's.
I'm just telling you how loud a concrete.
No, I know. I didn't want to get too far into the concrete because it'd be going away from it. People would be like, "Where's the concrete plant in all this story?" I'd be like, "No, that's not part of it.
Don't worry about it."
People take things and they start going down roads because you think we're telling a story. So when if they go down the wrong road, they're like, "Wait a second, I'm at a dead end. What happened? There was supposed to be a concrete plant.
Where's the concrete?"
So what do? Talk about it more. Fucking smart. So
nary a mixer down here.
Nothing. I don't see a belt or anything. So I guess he would often take walks in the woods. He takes walks in the woods to smoke joints. Everybody, all the neighborhood kids use the woods to smoke weed in because that's what woods are for when you're a teenager. That's where I smoked most of my weed. It was in woods. Even if it's a patch of 8 trees, if you can get in there and gather, you're like, okay, this is our area now. There's no... Yeah. This is international waters. There's no fucking rules. There's no adults. It's all ours in the woods.
They create a blanket.
That's what it is. So his mother said he was always in the woods. He's gone down to those woods all his life. If anything upset him, he always went down there. So he's hanging out in the woods. So at the same time, other kids hang out in the woods. All the kids of various ages hang out in the woods. We're talking the teenagers smoke weed. The little kids go just play in the woods because it's the woods. There's climb trees. You do shit. So this is phones and
there's no rules in the woods. This is where we all just get to be kids.
The best video game in the world was Atari at this point. That was the best game system, 2600. So think about that. There's not how much are you going to play Defender before you're bored and you got to go outside in the woods? Trust me, it's not good. So
eventually you get to a level that everything's way too fast.
It's just too fast. These planes are just too fast. I got to go.
It's all coming in so rapid.
So one kid that plays in the woods also is a 12-year-old young girl named Giselle Cote, or Cote. I'm not sure because it's Cote. Yeah. We did that episode of Crime and Sports on Patrick Cote, and that was spelled like this as well. So I guess it depends on how into your French roots you are, how it's pronounced. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. So Giselle here, she's a neighborhood kid, normal kid. She and most mornings, her and the other kids stop by a bakery and buy donuts and cookies before the bus arrives. Yeah. So that's awesome. If your bus is near a bakery, that's amazing. Lucky.
We had a little donut shop down the street from my house, and that's where all the kids would smoke cigarettes, drink coffee, and eat donuts. Like we were 38-year-old pissed off people heading to our job. We are 16 and going to school.
Thermos sitting next to you.
Sitting there smoking Marlboro Reds.
That's amazing. She's very much into stickers this year.
Yeah.
In the mid 80s, stickers were insanely big. Everything had sticker books. I remember you could get all the baseball cards in sticker form, and they'd have the books that you could remember all that. Like stickers were huge.
And there were places to put them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hugely. So she had a sticker thing that she would do at this point in time. She was into all the music like the other kids. She liked Michael Jackson and shit like that. Sure, 1984, 12-year-old kid. Very normal. She leaves her house on Jackson Street. She leaves her friend, or she leaves her house on Jackson Street. I'm sorry. She's supposed to go meet her friends in the woods here, near the woods on Pikes Hill. Normal shit. It's about 5:15 when she leaves. She's supposed to just got to be home by 6:15 for dinner. Be back in an hour. That's all. Yeah. No big deal. So she's supposed to come home for an hour for Sunday dinner. She doesn't come home at 6:15 though.
Oh,
but
no.
Kids lose track of time. They don't have phones back then. So
she is in trouble.
You're outside. You lose track of time if you're playing a game. Totally understandable. But by 8:00 p.m.
Oh, shit. Now she's grounded.
Yeah, now she's a 12-year-old girl that's gone, and it's gone beyond, oh, shit, you're grounded. They've gone outside. They've yelled where she should be. No one's answering. She's not there. The other kids say they hadn't seen her lately.
Yeah.
So now they're really worried by 8:00. And a 12-year-old is young enough to where she's not just off. She didn't just decide to go to the movie. She's 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She didn't meet a guy and decide to go out to the clubs tonight. So
all the guys down drinking at the bar. She's not doing that either.
No, they call the cops because they're very worried, and they're good parents. They're worried about their kids here. Their kids. So they look all around, and it gets dark pretty quick after that too. So it gets very difficult, and they can't find her all night. Right. They look basically all night. Nobody can find her. She's not found till 12 hours later. And
Where was she?
the way they find her is not the way they want to find her. She's on the edge of the Whisman River, half in and half out of the water, covered kind of lazily with leaves and sticks.
Really?
Which is, just some leaves and sticks on top of her.
Just sprinkle over her body.
Yeah, just kind of cover her up a little so it's, whatever. This is probably 500 yards from her house, by the way.
What?
Yeah, that's where this is. She's, by the way, wearing a purple blouse.
Oh?
She's wearing a purple blouse. They said they found also and also from the body they found, her body, they said a cord or other object that was the thing that would have been wrapped around her neck, some kind of cord or object like that. Then they found some nylon rope, a white nylon rope that they believe was what killed her. The detectives said they found white plastic nylon rope near the Whisman River bank where she was found. The rope was tied to a steel reinforcement bar inside a large square section of sewer pipe about 100 yards from her body.
Inside the sewer pipe?
Inside the sewer pipe. It was tied to a fucking thing. And they said that the pipe was large enough for people to get inside and clean it out. So it was a big enough pipe so kids could go in there. And this kid, he would know every nook and cranny to go smoke a joint. So he would, all the teenagers would know where this is, put it that way. They go, in the sewer pipe. Yeah, that's where we go and hang out. I got my first hand job in there. It's that kind of place. You know what I mean?
And it has like a reinforcement.
The rebars.
Steel. Yeah.
That's what it's tied to. And they say she could have been either strangled or even hanged. So they're thinking maybe she was tied to the rebar and somebody was pulling on her maybe. And
my God.
Basically hang her like that, which is
torture.
Horrible. They made sure in the initial reporting to say that her body was clothed and found in the woods. That was one thing they made sure. But then later on, though, they find out we'll talk about the investigation. There's more than 100 people interviewed in the next 2 days. They have 10 investigators. Everybody they can gather full time. It's a 12-year-old girl that's been fucking killed on the riverbank. They're going to find out who did this. They're going to try anyway. So everybody comes in. They interview basically everybody that would have been outside on that Sunday evening anywhere near this fucking place. Everything like that. They appeal to the public. They said they've narrowed the investigation down to this given area of town. Well, yeah, she went from her house to there. Where the fuck else did you do? Yeah, thanks a lot.
1,000-foot radius of that. I mean, that's where she's at, too.
But otherwise, they said, we're asking people who may have been passing through this area between 4 and 8 p.m. to call us. They're just like, we need anything we can get. The area is it's kind of triangular. It's a 160-acre plot of woods and around there. So it's got the river on one side and then 2 streets on the other. One of the sides is bordered by the river. So they said that there's so many people that pass through that area. The cop said, we're asking them to cooperate and come in. A lot of times, something that may not appear important to people is actually important. And what we're trying to do is get people who frequent the area so they might, also know other people who might have been there. So they said the thing that's been made it really complicated is the people there's a ton of people in the woods that day. It's a Saturday and it was a nice day outside. And the shift to daylight savings, nobody knows what time they were there. They said that has completely fucked everything up. Where they're like, I was either there at 5 or 6. I'm not sure. They're like, that counts for a lot. So that would help.
It depends.
Depends on if I set my watch back that day or if I forgot to do it till the next day. So it's really, really hard. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So they said, this is the detective, he said, they couldn't have given us a worse problem than that turning the clock ahead on Sunday morning. That was his quote.
Thanks a lot, Ben Franklin, you son of a bitch.
No one knows what's going on now. So they said that, he's Scott is one of the people that went into the woods, obviously. Mm-hmm. So they have a memorial for Giselle, clearly, and the cops say at that point, this is the assistant attorney general, he says, we're hopeful, we're always hopeful, but we don't have a suspect at this point. There's no way to reassure people that we're going to have this wrapped up in a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, so they said, the family friend said, why Giselle and how? How could anyone have done this? I have no answer. Children are known primarily for their trust and their love. And so this is someone speaking at the memorial. We come together not to give answers, but to show trust and love. We can't turn into bitter, untrusting people, or this evil deed will surely triumph. Mm-hmm. So that's good for everybody. Good advice for all out there, I think. So people really, everybody's bummed and depressed. And I mean, Jesus, everybody said she's such a nice kid. All the other kids liked her. All the teachers said she's a good, nice, sweet, respectful kid and likes all the other kids, treats everybody nice. And
she's 12.
She's 12. I mean, she's a 12-year-old kid. She's just a sweet kid.
No opportunity to be a dick to people.
No, she's a 12-year-old kid who wants to play with stickers. I mean, you can't get any nicer than that.
She's as innocent as it gets.
This sends the town into a complete fucking freak out. I mean,
why wouldn't it?
I'm talking a meltdown. These people are. It takes over everything. Terror Town, USA. I mean, it takes over everything. One woman who works at a hospital here said that she used to just walk to her car and then go home. But now she calls her husband and she has a whole thing. She won't walk to her car alone anymore.
I think you're aged out, dear.
Yeah, that's 12 and she's a nurse at the hospital, but it's a night shift. She said that I had children grow up in that neighborhood and I had no fears. Some of the kids are acting more afraid now also is what they're saying. Sure. And somebody here at the school district psychologist said they're afraid someone might get them. If kids are afraid of the boogeyman, this becomes a very powerful boogeyman figure. You might see kids looking under the bed. Some children might have nightmares. So, yeah. Now, they have some witnesses here. They have two people that said they saw a slender teenager walking through the woods with his hands on a 12-year-old girl with a purple shirt on, with his hands on her shoulders, walking her through the woods,
like showing her where to go,
guiding her. Okay, 3 teenagers, but they didn't identify Scott. They just said a slender teenager. Yeah. Now, 3 teenagers who know him saw Scott walking over a bank of the Musam River. Hope that's how you say it, shortly before 7 p.m. on April 29th. They said he looked pale and all slouched over as he walked up to them. And then he ended up buying weed from them. So he walked up and bought some weed from him. What a great patch of woods, though. Besides the murder, you can just walk around and run into people to buy weed from in the woods in 1984. That's phenomenal.
But it's nice that he only bought weed from them, because if he was pale and slouched over, could have been anything. It could have been withdrawals from whatever drug he was purchasing.
Who knows?
But weed, that's you don't do that. You don't feel that way.
No, no.
Give me some weed. I want to feel better.
Yeah, or I just ran out.
Yeah.
So at 6:30 that day, 6:30 p.m., a group of 4 people saw a teenager they knew as Scott, that's him,
sure,
stooping next to the shallow pool of the Musam River. This is right near where Giselle was found. She said that this person said, he told us he was looking for a good fishing spot. And they said, I thought it was kind of awkward because he didn't have any fishing gear with him. He apparently wouldn't look any of us in the eye. When he spoke to us, he kept looking down or away from us. Which a lot of teenagers do that, by the way. With adults, they don't look at adults in the eye. It's just one of those things. But this doesn't look good. I'm looking for a good fishing spot with no pole is a weird. I just saw this on whatever Live PD is now. We were watching. Some guy was in Florida, and he was like, I was just going to check out a fishing spot. And the cop goes, you don't have any gear with you? He's like, I was just going to check it out. And he goes, it's 11 o'clock at night. What do you go at 11 o'clock at night? What are you going to? What can you see about a fishing spot at 11 o'clock at night with no equipment? Like, nobody's buying that.
Right.
So then I guess when they end up talking to Scott, because they hear he's one of the people in the woods, he told the police detective that he was uptight. And he also told him that he'd been suffering from memory lapses in the weeks prior to the murder.
Told the cop's uptight, or told
the cop. He told the cop, I'm feeling uptight. I've been suffering from memory lapses lately.
Yeah.
Here. He said that he told his girlfriend 3 weeks ago, or he told the detective 3 weeks ago, he threw a knife at a wall after fighting with his girlfriend. And then after throwing the knife, he forgot what the fight was about. So he didn't even know why he did it. So, yeah. So they bring him in. They go, let's do a little interrogation with this kid and see what he's all about, because he's a skinny teenager and sure seems like a jerk off, you know.
And he's admitting to throwing knives around in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, and they found out about his notes and his purple and all that, because the little girl's wearing purple also. So there's a purple connection here. So that might turn him on or something. So also they find in his locker and in his room, they find that he has a lot of what they call, quote, satanic artwork. And he has the Satanic Bible, the Anton LaVey thing. He's got Satan's prayer he wrote in a notebook, and Satan's rules and all this shit. So in 1984, if they see anything that has anything to do with Satan, it was a satanic ritual, obviously. So now on the tape here of the interrogation, he admits that he is a, quote, Satanist, and that he believes a Satanist has the power to put a hex on anyone who's wronged him. This is all on the tapes, okay? So they really take him down the rabbit, rather than not giving a shit. They really take him down the rabbit hole. Then in court later, they're going to play these tapes, and the jurors are going to freak the fuck out, because they're going to, it's a very West Memphis 3 situation. Except we'll find out this guy's guilty as fucking balls. Is the difference?
And it's 1983.
Yeah, it's 84, mid 84 here. So the tapes here, Jesus Christ. He says that, quote, the detective says to him, the Bible says thou shalt not kill. And he says, and they say, what does your Bible say? And Scott says, Satanism does not advocate the killing of anyone. It's like the Bible says, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's the basic concept. And he said he describes Satanism as living by the laws of the jungle, do unto others as others do unto you. Wow. Yeah. So that's what he says, which then he says that he outlined that there's rituals that Satanists can use to summon power, including the destruction ritual that is used to cast a hex on anyone who goes out of their way to seriously bother you. He said if a guy tried to kill you, he'd give you a reason to kill him. If he punched you or broke your finger or anything, that's no reason to try to put a hex on anybody. I mean, you got to be reasonable with your hexes, Jimmy. You know what I mean?
Finger.
Come on. I mean, you can't get disproportional hexes. This is
over a finger. No,
this is ridiculous. Yeah, nobody hexes over a finger. This is crazy. Later in the tape, he says that anything that may establish a strong mental imagery may be used to cast a hex, hair or whatever, is his quote. He also says that he has learned about how to do satanic rituals, but he's never performed any because he doesn't have the bells or any of the other equipment necessary for satanic worship.
No bells nor whistles.
He has he hasn't built up the infrastructure for a satanic worship yet, a real ritual, He doesn't have it. The Spencer's Gifts doesn't sell it at the mall, so he's really out of ideas at this point.
Feels like his Satanism is really hampered with his lack of ability and lack of reasons to hex. I mean,
he should really maybe
be
pick something different. Yeah,
that's got to be a long day at the course for Satanism. It's probably an open discussion of several hours with a lot of questions. What if and a lot of what ifs, and then the instructor has to
Let me ask you this.
What if this scenario plays out and the instructor has to do a thumbs up or thumbs down? Hex or no hex?
Hex or no? We'll go ahead and hex him up. Hex him. Okay, gonna hex you. He went on to say there's no killing of animals or people or anything like that. So they asked him, how did you get started? And he said, I just started questioning things. I see certain things and I say, if there's a God, why are these things happening? So he said that, he said, there's 2 friends of mine that are Satanists, he said, and I believe there are a few people at the high school. As far as I know, we're pretty much alone as far as being in Sanford. So they said, are there hundreds of you? Is it a giant cult? And he goes, it's like me and 3 other kids, and we don't really talk that much. So
the member's number 1, 2, 3. That's about it.
Not really. So he denied he was near the river that day, even though people saw him. They said, you were down near the river. He said, no, I was not. Okay. Well. Yep. Well,
there goes that theory.
Then he says, okay, fine, I was down by the river, but I could never hurt a girl. But the thing is, I did trip over her and find her.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I tripped over her. Yeah, I stumbled across her body before you guys found her. I was just hanging out, walking around, smoking a joint.
And it was the crime scene.
It's just how it goes. And he said he tripped over it and said, quote, here's a body. Well, then. Or would you go, oh, my God, a dead child, holy shit, and run for help, dead child. What the fuck are you kidding me? Oh, here's a dead little girl. Oh, well.
Satanist, James.
You know what? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just not religious enough in any capacity. He said, here's a body. Then he says, quote, I freaked out. I said, hey, and it didn't move. He said, I
said, hey to a dead body.
I said, hey. Didn't move. He said, I kicked at it and it didn't move. I said, what the? You can finish.
That's his story?
I said, what? I kick it and I said, what the? What the hell? Then they said, well, why didn't you tell anybody about this? If you knew there was a search party going through the fucking woods, maybe you could have said, hey, down here, found it. He said, quote, I didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, if I found it, somebody else will find it too.
It's right here. Someone's going to see it.
I think I'm so special.
It's not buried under something or anything. It's a couple of sticks.
I tripped over the goddamn thing. It's right there.
Someone else is there. So he then said, what's going on? And he said, I knelt down and I ran my hands through the grass and I picked up some grass and stood up and tossed the grass. And I looked away and there was this little old lady staring at me. So he said somebody saw him doing this, and then he said, but he didn't want to get involved at all. He couldn't do it. No way. Then he told them about memory problems again, memory lapses. He said that he was listening to a radio station, WBLM, and he said that the song would play 6 songs in a row, and he could only remember the last song that played. He couldn't remember any of the ones before that. Just couldn't do it.
With the countdown, too.
Yeah. He also might be on acid a lot, so that's another thing that happens when you're fucking 18. He said that he had a fight with his girlfriend, and he said, he threw the thing against the wall, and he said that he would never intentionally kill anybody. He said that the murder might have happened the way, he doesn't know. Maybe he had a memory lapse, but he never had one that bad.
Yeah.
So he doubts that he could have done it. I don't think so.
I've had lapses, but never murder lapses.
Then he said it was really difficult for him sitting there now being accused of this and not knowing whether he did it or not. And then he started to cry. So the evidence against him is an older woman actually did see, quote, spotted a gentleman in the woods. She elbowed me slightly, these are the witnesses talking, in the side and pointed him out. I saw a man doing something in the grass with his hands, and he had some sticks in his hands. The shit on top of the body. That's right. I saw him staging the body the way
camouflaging.
Yeah. They pointed down to a 10-foot by 5-foot hand-drawn map of the murder site that they drew for the people and showed the cops and showed this is where I saw it and everything. It was right where the body was.
Yeah.
So the autopsy comes in here. Okay. Rope, like we said, tied to a steel reinforcement bar inside a large square section of sewer pipe 100 yards from the body, big enough for people to get into. Marks on her body showed she was either hanged or strangled, according to the autopsy reports, and you can put that together however you want. They said that they found, now her legs were in the water, her torso was on the shore. That's why she stayed on the shore. And it was like a pooled area, too. It wasn't a flowing area of the river. It was like a little off-pooled thing. They found, now she was clothed, like we said. They found on her shirt, just below the neckline, they found sperm cells.
Just below the neckline?
Yeah, like on her shirt.
Yeah.
On her chest. They also found some green underwear about 25 feet from the body that also had sperm cells on it.
Okay.
So there was there. Now, the sperm, there's no DNA back then, remember?
Right,
so it's just blood typing and that sort of thing. It matches Scott's blood type. They said about 32% of white males in the United States would have both that kind of sperm that can be linked to the blood type that he is. So it's not not an exact science. Yeah. It's 1 in 3 people here. They do say there was no sperm found in or near the vaginal area. So
weird.
They believe that he masturbated on her. He fucked. That's what he did. Which we hear that with serial killers all the fucking time. That's what BTK did. I mean, that girl especially with kids. That's
never did anything. Just
jerked
always
off.
That.
Yep, jerked off with fucking scumbag. So based on that, they arrest Scott because that's close enough. In the woods, tripped over the body. Yeah. Sperm that matches you, even 1 in 3, you're fucking coming in, asshole. And all this Satan shit you could throw in there too. Forget about it. So his family, his mother said, I think he came back around 7. He didn't seem any different or anything, but who knows?
Ooh, that's a weird thing to say.
She said that, quote, his difficult life doesn't excuse him if he did it. She said, this is after he was arrested. I talked to Scott last night. I don't think he could have done it, but who knows? All night long, I didn't even think of him. I just thought of that poor girl and her family. This has been awfully hard on us. Everybody thinks of the victim's family, but what about the other side?
Yeah, but in retrospect, Ma, isn't it more scary that if he did do it and he wasn't any different, doesn't that
That's
fucking
terrifying.
frighten you?
He didn't go wow, I saw him. All the color was drained from his face, and he just kept muttering half words. Couldn't get whole words out. He was just like, river. That's all he kept saying. It was really weird. And then he went and laid in his room, and I didn't see him till the next day. That's what he should be acting like if he's killed a fucking child, because that's what normal people would be. She said he's never been violent. Maybe it was pent up inside of him. I wouldn't want him to be walking around if he did do it. So his mom's like, if he did it, put him away.
Yeah.
His brother said, quote, I'm kind of surprised myself. I would hope you are. I always figured him that he would kill children. I don't know what it was. I figured he'd kill children and then masturbate on them. I just always had him pegged for that from the time he was a little tyke. I don't know. He liked Oscar the Grouch, and I said, you know what? There's something about that.
If any time you ever witnessed somebody being arrested and you knew that person would probably, if your reaction is, I fucking knew it, why would you have ever been around that person?
Yeah, exactly. I had a red flag about it, but So they said that they're trying to get all the Satan shit out of the court.
Yeah, the
defense doesn't want that. They said it concerns the alleged strange and odd behavior of the defendant, which could be highly prejudicial to the defendant and prove to be a serious threat to his right to a fair trial if the material were subject of pre-trial publicity. And it totally is.
Yeah.
By the way, by October, before the trial, people are freaking out thinking there's a big cult in town now. Oh, this is like 3 kids fucking around, by the way. They said that there's anonymous death threats directed at teenage girls, and people are panicked. The police say this is all bullshit, by the way. Yeah. They're not stoking it. They're saying this is bullshit. It's a couple of kids, and the whole town is losing their mind, and the newspaper's jumping right on the bandwagon.
Some of those are made up, and then some of them are just dickhead kids that are sending shit to girls now.
Yeah, the police say it's, quote, kid stuff fueled by the approach of Halloween and the upcoming trial of Scott Waterhouse. They say there's no evidence that the threats are real, so stop spreading rumors. The police literally say stop spreading rumors. They said a female employee, the latest threat was a female employee at the Encore Shoe is the name of the store. Encore Shoe, I guess a shoe store. They said found a note attached to her time card that read, "Your sister," and her name was there, "will be dead by October 31st. Her plant manager said it was right around break time. She just happened to be going by and kind of glanced and saw this slip of paper. She was really shook. Okay. So they said that around town, quote, especially the young ladies here are shook up. I do my best to tell them it has nothing to do with whatsoever with the factory, but it was just some idiot trying to go get some kind of scare going." Now, another thing they said that, good God, another threat was a taxi driver said they got a threat that said, quote, it said she'd be dead by October 5th, a member of their family. Mm-hmm. She was petrified. You can't overlook it. You have to show some concern. So people have come together, a group of people gathered at the abandoned mill here. This is complete Stranger Things, dude. A group of teenagers and some adults gathered at the abandoned mill on Spruce and High Streets talking of going in and, quote, getting the cult that they know is operating inside the abandoned mill. Okay?
Yeah.
Later that day, I guess late the day before, fire officials suspected that there was a fire set that damaged the upper stories of the rundown abandoned building. The one person here said, quote, "People are sick of this. If the police don't want to go into the mill, we'll go. We'll get a lot more of these groups. It's scaring a lot of people due to these letters going around. We want to let them know that people aren't going to put up with it." Okay, so they said that they think it's a meeting place for this cult, this satanic cult. Another guy said, "On Saturday night, I went by at about 11 o'clock and the whole top floor was lit up. I don't know if it was candles or what." Okay.
Perhaps it was the fire.
Maybe. Now, police say that they've been inside the building. It's just graffiti spray painted on the walls and beer bottles left and charcoal remains of little bonfires. It's fucking teenagers smoking weed and fucking up here. That's what's going on. They said there's no evidence it's a meeting place for a cult. The police chief, Arthur J. Kelly, said to the reporter, quote, "You're starting this rumor. This is you. There's nothing there." Another guy said this is all bullshit from the town. He said, "I've been in there. The only thing written on the walls is Scott Waterhouse was here." That's the only thing on there. Yeah, that's gross too. He said, quote, "I tell them, but they don't listen. They want to hear what they want to hear," is what this guy said. I tell them there's nothing going on. They don't listen. So they said that their people are going to meet up again between 15 and 40. That's about the people who say they're going to come, and they're ready to go in there and confront them. And God damn it. The police chief said the rumors have been crazy. The best thing they can do is not repeat the stuff. So many of this stuff is 10th hand. We don't have anything to substantiate them being scared. I got a call from a woman who said, "Why don't you make a public statement?" About what? That the rumors aren't true? We hear rumors all the time. Once Halloween's over and the trial's over, maybe this will all calm down. So the town has lost their fucking mind. Yeah. They've turned into Hawkins, Indiana, 1986. It's gone crazy.
It's too close to Halloween, and people are already freaked out anyway.
So they bring in in court. They obviously have, like we said, all this physical evidence that's tied with the circumstantial. It makes a decent case. Sure. In court, by the way, Scott has a fiance now.
What?
Yeah, sometime in the last year, he got a fiance. I don't know if it's the girl he threw the knife at or what, or threw the knife because of or what. He pleads not guilty. He maintains his innocence. He says he maintains his innocence, and he says he didn't do a goddamn thing. Okay. So the trial is 9 men and 3 women on the jury. Yeah. So, and I feel like that's not going to be good for you because you did this, then got a girl to say she would marry you. Meanwhile, if you're in jail, you're being held away from the other guys because they'll stab you in the face for this. I feel like this is one of those where guys want to seek physical vengeance against a guy for this, and not saying women don't, but I'm saying that it might be easier for him to gain some kind of sympathy about the hip and all that kind of shit from women than from guys who are like, I'll kick you right in your fucking hip, you goddamn scumbag, jerking off on little girls.
Very dangerous to have 9 men on your trial, on your jury, if they're all fucking fathers of daughters. Too.
That's the other thing. Anybody with a daughter, you're dead.
And
the women too. If their mothers are daughters, you got problems too.
But I don't know that I'd be able to see through much of anybody screaming I didn't do this. If I could just picture my daughter in that river. It's hard, man.
It's especially like this. It's pointless. Just so he could jerk off. Go home and jerk off to fucking. What are you doing, you scumbag? So you piece of shit. So his defense said he was subjected to a grueling 3-hour interrogation.
Oh, come on.
Which is not a long interrogation. No. He even said to the cop on the stand, isn't it a fact that for 3 hours, that was what was drilled into his head, that he was the person who killed Giselle? Isn't that what was said? Was it less than 50 times? Was it less than 50 times that you accused him of killing Giselle? It's clear that you never got an answer that he killed Giselle. No, but he said he might have if he had a memory lapse and he tripped over the body and went, what the hell? What's up, bro? What the? Whoa. Dude, there's a fucking corpse, man.
Well,
it's like
there's
a little
body there. What's going on here?
It's like a little girl and stuff, bro. Whoa, radical. Like, what the fuck? No, that's not what happened. You fucking liar. So they bring people in. The witness who saw a slender male whose back of their head looks similar to his, guiding young Giselle through the woods. Other people that saw him fucking, putting twigs and leaves on her body. Another guy said he was out smoking weed with a friend, and he saw a male, maybe 5'10" or 5'7", 5'8", walking behind a girl as well. He said he's known Waterhouse for a couple of years, and they said, do you think the male walking with the female that day was Scott Waterhouse? And he said, no, sir.
Huh.
So he's like, I know Scott. That wasn't Scott. So that's interesting. And they said, why don't you think it was Scott? And he said, well, Scott walks with a limp because he has a bad hip. As far as I could tell, that man did not. That's interesting. But he said he tripped over but I don't know. If he didn't say I found the body, you'd go, well, maybe. But no, that's just, you're mistaken is probably what it is.
I've never been there and I've never seen the body is the only defense that works here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There, for Christ's sake.
Once you do that, you're done, man. You're fucking done. So the state rests their case after all these witnesses. They give the physical evidence. Sure. They say that the sperm cells were deposited by a man with type A and H blood. They also said that blood and saliva samples taken from saliva samples that were taken from him says that he has the AH combination that could have contributed to the semen. So it's all there here. Now, the Attorney General here in his closing argument said that Scott killed Giselle, quote, for the hell of it and as part of a game, he said. Oh. He said part of the game was to tie her wrists because apparently they found ligature marks on her wrists. So he apparently tied her up at one point. And when her wrists were tied, Mr. Waterhouse had her at his mercy, like Gacy, basically.
Yeah.
Incapacitated. By the way, what a pussy is you have to incapacitate a fucking 12-year-old girl so you could do that? Jesus Christ, man. So he also, the assistant attorney general, went hardcore into the satanic aspect here.
Oh boy.
Saying that the religion denigrated truth-telling, consisted of hedonism and rituals of sex and destruction. He said that on the tape you heard Scott say that Satanism's basically, whatever cranks your, what the fuck did he say? He said, whatever floats your boat, whatever turns your crank. That's what it's all about. So he brings that up. He said there's tons of discrepancies in the testimonies, inconsistencies in his version of the story. Said he tripped over the body. The shit fucking matches him. Oh, and by the way, I'd concentrate on he was seen there and physical evidence matches. He also says, though, the district attorney here at the end, or the attorney general, that it also fell on, there's 3 major satanic holidays is what the guy says. He says Halloween, one's own birthday, and this other one that's celebrated several days before the 1st of May. So that's what this was. This was he was feeding a satanic ritual. Which,
okay.
I mean,
April showers and May flowers, we've got a holiday.
to me, if I'm the jury foreman here and I'm reading it, I go, I'd start by saying, we have a verdict. I would like to say this is in spite of all your dipshit fucking dumb Satan shit, prosecutor, just to let you know. Like, you didn't need that shit, and we almost voted against it just to make you look like an asshole. But we needed to put him in jail because he's an asshole. So anyway, in less than an hour, they find him guilty of murder.
Fast, yeah.
Guilty. Giselle's father said it's a great day for the whole family, and her father's girlfriend said justice was done. It was a hard day for everybody. Now maybe we can start to repair our lives. Mm-hmm. That'd be good. So sentencing comes around, and there's a lot of leeway here on the sentencing for him.
Sure.
They tell him, you, sir, young man, may fuck off, life without parole.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but you can't kill 12-year-old girls.
No, you can't.
You just can't. Yeah. No one's going to stand for that. Like, 12. That's the most protected thing in the world. No one. That's the most. A 12-year-old girl is. Everyone just goes, you fucking scumbag. Like, yeah. Not that if you kill anybody otherwise, but if you kill someone who's like
baby for Christ's sake.
Yeah. That's just disgusting. She's playing with stickers, you scumbag.
Yeah.
Fucking scumbag. So. The point is there a cult, though? No. After this is all over with, the chief of police says, we found no evidence of any organized cult. Okay? Then they interview one of Scott's friends, Arthur DiMattea, who is an avowed devil worshiper, is how he puts it. They asked him, is there an existence of a cult? And he said, I don't know. There could be one.
Oh, you asshole.
Yeah, I don't know. Adults, could be one, and then the adults are going to form vigilante groups out of that. So in prison, 4 years later, Scott has not into Satanism anymore.
No,
now he's into witchcraft. He's into Wicca now. That's his thing.
He's a warlock in jail?
Yeah, that's what he got into there. He says that he wasn't even that much into Satanism. He was mildly curious about it, basically. He was like Damien Eckel, essentially. So he said that the media, quote, blew out of proportion a harmless teenage fascination. And, they said they constantly were saying what he was doing on drugs and all this shit. And they just made it they made it all blown out of proportion. He said now, he starts talking to the reporter about gods and goddesses and ceremonial magic and divine source and reincarnation, and he's all into this shit. They said he's kind of like a hippie now. He looks like a hippie, acts like a hippie, but he also wears a pentagram. In the article, they say he's wearing a pentagram on a necklace. And he said, oh, you idiot, this pentagram isn't inverted, so it's not a satanic symbol.
Not real, yeah.
He said, no, instead the 5-point star points upward towards some unnamed deity, but she doesn't know yet. But, he's a Wiccan. It's pointing up to whoever's in charge there.
I'll figure it. Wait.
Him and his fellow inmates have established a coven at the prison called the Circle of New Life.
Oh, I hate all of you.
He says that the pentagram represents air, fire, water, earth, and spirit. It perfectly symbolizes man as he should be, with spirit overall and in control. He says all of this shit. Now, 1988, him and his dipshit friends have a Wiccan revolt in the prison.
What?
Maine state prison inmates identified as members of a religious group known as the Wiccans face disciplinary action after they occupied a roof area for up to 7 hours and threatened guards before surrendering peaceably. It's fucking... They're these idiots. No one was injured here. They said, the corrections people said there was never any risk of escape. They were on the roof, for Christ's sake. The inmates apparently threatened the prison staff members and broke several wooden chairs to use them as weapons and to burn in a metal wastebasket in order to keep warm up on the roof because it was in the winter in Maine. One quote says, they took a wooden staff that they use in their ceremonies and brandished it in a similar fashion as a Louisville slugger. Jesus Christ. They gathered for an authorized religious ceremony, went out a prison window onto a lower roof, and scaled a ladder onto the higher rooftop. So they were summoned back in, and they said they wouldn't come, so they had to go out and get them, basically. They said they didn't negotiate with them. They just went and got them. They also said the inmates on the roof had, quote, zero support from the other 485 prisoners. Fuck those jerk-offs.
500 people told you to go fuck yourself.
Yep. It ended 7 hours later, and most of the people now out of this group of 7, 4 of them got transferred to other prisons and broke up their whole coven. Now, after that, in 2001, they're closing down his prison.
Oh, no.
He's very sad because he likes it there. Yeah. He works in the print shop. He's having a good time. Yeah. He said, this is one of the sweetest places in the country to do time. It's sweet, man. Fucking sweet, brah. He said, quote, you get comfortable after a period of time. You have that few feet of space you have some control over. Then later on, he says, a new prison, who knows what it's going to be like. He said, everything I've done for 17 years is being stripped away from me because someone said we needed a new prison.
No, it's because you murdered a girl. That's why.
Yeah, you could be home.
Had you not murdered her, nothing would be stripped from you.
Nothing at all. You fucking scumbag. So there he is, Scott Waterhouse, in prison forever. Complete idiot kid. Doesn't seem to have learned very much. Just seems like a real dipshit. No. Doesn't get it.
Thinks he's got a mortgage on this place.
Yeah, he's like, I like it here. It's really great. It's like, you're in a fucking a state facility. They can move you wherever they want. They don't even need to build a new prison. Right. They can just stick you in a hole and go, new state prison, and that's it. So either way, there you go. That is Sanford, Maine, and Scott Waterhouse, and poor little Giselle Coate. That is terrible shit here. If you like that show, let the world know about it. Tell us whatever app you're listening on. Give us 5 stars. It really does help drive us up the charts, so do that. Follow us on social media. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Also, you definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets October 27th, virtual live show, just like a real live show, except we have the whole stage set up the same way. We get the pictures and the big screen and the whole deal, and you'll be in your living room instead of in the theaters. The only difference, anywhere in the world, it'll be available for 7 days after that. Shutupandgivememurder.com or go to moment.co or moment.co/smalltownmurder. There you go. Go to either one of those places. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Get all your bonus stuff. Every other week, you get 2 new episodes, $5 or above. Anybody there. It's a cup of coffee, for Christ's sake. This week, Sex Scandals Part 3, Duke Fuck List finished off. Some idiot also getting his love poetry read in court. And then, of course, for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about the rarefied air of when serial killing and the mafia crossover. When serial killing's actually good for your career. Right. It's incredible. Never happens. And what's the difference between a hitman and a serial killer? We'll get into all of that stuff there. Patreon.com/crime and sports, and you'll get a shout out at the end of the regular show. That said, damn it. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Make sure to listen to the regular show on Wednesdays. And of course, Crime and Sports comes out on Tuesdays. Thank you so much for listening. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.